Hello theorists, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Theory Hammer. I'm KevBot. We're going to be looking at the Wrathful Procession detachment for the Black Templars, and spoiler alert, it's bad, okay? It's bad. It's f***ing bad. Alright, so, if you liked the video, Thunderhammer that like, subscribe, and bell icon. Do this with it, with your Thunderhammer. I should put one on my shelf back here. Anyway, check out the other videos, leave a comment, and check out the other channel as well. Now we're going to get into this piece of garbage here. Zealous litanies is our detachment rule. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the litanies listed below. If you do until the end of the battle round, it's active for your infantry and mounted units only. No vehicles or anything, not that that matters too much, but if you're taking dreadnoughts and stuff, you don't get any of this. Chorus of Relentless Hate. Add 2 inches to the move characteristic of models in the unit and add 1 to advance rolls made for it. Admittedly, this isn't bad. +2 move, +1 advance. Not bad. But you're losing the option to take lethal hits, to get sustained hits. You have things that allow you to crit on 5s in the original detachment. I don't remember what it's called. But you miss a lot of stuff by taking this detachment. So I'm getting ahead of myself. And the next one is the Rite of Perfid Wrath? Rite of Perfid Wrath. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in the unit. Again, I'd rather just have lethal hits. It's just, I skip the wound roll entirely, instead of having the +1 strength. It's just not as good. Chant of Deathless Devotion. Models in the unit have a 5-up invulnerable save against ranged attacks. Okay, is that better than having a 6-up Feel No Pain all the time on everything? No. No, it is not. But that's what we get. So, it's not that it's just complete shit, it's that it's not nearly as good as the original detachment, and so why would you ever take it? Then we have the restrictions. You can include Black Templars, but you can't include anything else, so you can't have Ultramarines or Salamanders or Blood Angels or anything like that. Our first enhancement is Firebrand. This is for Black Templar models only, 25 points. The bearer's unit have stealth. Okay, so you're -1 to hit. It's not bad. It's just okay. It's just, anyway, Sacred Rage. 30 points, Adeptus Astartes model only. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, it can use this enhancement. If it does, they have fights first until the end of the phase. 30 points for fight first. Pretty good, honestly. I can't knock this too much. You take this on like a unit of Sword Brethren, and they're basically unchargeable because they will have fights first, so it's fine. Having fights first is good, and that's just one example. You could put this on a whole bunch of different units, and it makes them basically unchargeable and harder to deal with. Tarmon's Censor, 15 points for Black Templar model only. Interesting. Firebrand and this Censor thing have to be taken on Black Templar models only. You can't take them on just Adeptus Astartes model only. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit must take a battle shock test. When doing so, subtract 1 from the result. Yeah. So for 15 points, take a battle shock test. It's every fight phase, so that's better than once a battle or something. The fact that it's at -1 makes it a little bit more impactful, for sure, especially against things that are already Leadership 7. Now they have a pretty high chance of failing the roll, so it's not the worst thing ever, but it's also not the best thing ever. For 15 points, it's probably right around where it needs to be in terms of cost. Are you ever going to take it? No. Benediction of Fury for 10 points. Chaplain model only. The bearer's weapons have the Devastating Wounds ability. That's fine for 10 points. It's fine. Only on a chaplain though. This cannot be on any other character. So chaplains themselves, not the best characters. So yeah, just overall, it's not as good. I don't care what any of you say. It's just not as good. Mathematically speaking, it's just not as good. Having lethal hits, being able to then get sustained hits on top of it with a stratagem. So I'm talking about the original detachment here. Being able to get both of those on something and then being able to crit on 5s, depending on the enhancements that you have, it just takes things to the moon. Having +1 strength, it's just not as nearly as impactful. The +2 move, the +1 advance, absolutely the best Zealous litany that you can choose here. The 5-up invuln is interesting to me. I said it wasn't as good at first. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's okay. But a lot of the times when you're in cover and you're getting attacked, you know, most combat's AP2. It's pretty rare if it's AP3. So you're already getting a 5-up save most of the time in combat. Against shooting, if you're in cover with Armor of Contempt, or if you're just in cover with a 3-up save, You need to be AP 3 to get me to a 5-up, so you need to be AP 4 for this to actually come into play. So hopefully when I put it that way, it doesn't seem as good. Just having a 6-up Feel No Pain, if that's what you wanted to choose in the original detachment, it's just better than having the 5-up invuln, in my opinion. And that applies to everything, because again, this Zealous Litanies detachment rule only applies to your infantry and your mounted units. I could see something interesting with the Outriders moving 14, +1 to their advanced rolls as well. That could be something interesting, because they're actually a lot better now. They get +1 strength and damage on the charge. Maybe it's +1 AP. I'm pretty sure it's +1 strength and damage on the charge. So, yeah, I don't like it. Moving on to our stratagems, and I'm just going to give you another spoiler alert here. There's one good one, besides Armor of Contempt. So, Fueled by Faith is the first one for 1 CP. It's in any phase. Just after a mortal wound is allocated to a unit in your army, you target that unit until the end of the phase. You have a Feel No Pain 5-up against mortal wounds. This can be done on anything, so this can be done on your other units, but you're not incentivized to take other units, like vehicles and dreadnoughts and stuff, because they don't get anything from their detachment rule. We then have Armor of Contempt. We all know what that does. Castigate the Demagogues is the next one for 1 CP. In the fight phase, you target an Adept Astartes unit from your army that's not been selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have precision. It's fine. It gives the whole unit precision, so you're definitely going to be getting the character that's there. A lot of the time, if you have like Helbrecht or something though, and you just pay the CP to give him precision, he just kills what he needs to kill anyway. I know I'm making a lot of comparisons here to the original detachment, but that's kind of just, I can't help it. When I already know of existing rules that are better, I can't help but make a comparison to that. So, yeah, it's very underwhelming to just gain a precision on all of your stuff when you could just give it to a good character instead already. Like, you can take the other detachment, still have access to precision on a decent character, and just wipe the thing that you need to wipe anyway, because you're going to have lethals or sustained. You're going to be Oath of the Moment for full rerolls. You're going to get even more lethals, even more sustained. The character's going to die. You just don't fucking need this. Alright, Brute Fervor. 1 CP, fight phase. Adept Astartes unit from your army that's not been selected to fight until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1, and you can ignore any or all modifiers to the following attacks, weapon skill characteristic, hit roll, and wound roll. Okay. So this is this isn't bad. So I lied. There's actually 2 good ones. This isn't bad. Being able to ignore -1 to be wounded, -1 to be hit in combat's very rare, but it does exist. So you can just ignore all that shit, basically. So if I have like a Votan Terminator squad, I know, it's my favorite example. It's an insane unit. Go watch the video. They're -1 to be wounded, and their toughness is 6, so these guys just ignore that. So they're going to hit you pretty hard, and they could be +2 strength, so now they're hitting you with hopefully higher than strength 6, depending on what the weapon is that's hitting you. And yeah, you're not +1, or you're not -1 to be wounded, so that's not bad. Or -1 to be hit. So for 1 CP, getting multiple effects there, I don't think it's bad. Again, it's just that attachment isn't one that I would choose just to have this stratagem. Like, no. Relentless Momentum for 1 CP. This is the good one. Fight phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase and is already within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units until the end of the phase. When determining which models in your unit are eligible to fight, any models in that unit that are within 3 inches of 1 or more enemy models are eligible to fight. When resolving those attacks, such models can target one of those enemy units that is within 3 inches of them and within engagement range of their unit. Yeah. This is good. This is real good. This allows your big 20-man unit to just swing with everybody. This allows Terminator squads to swing with everybody after getting a short charge range. So just generally speaking, being able to fight within 3 inches instead of within base contact of a model that's already there, or within an inch normally if you're not within base contact, this is very, very good. So this completely messes up my tips and tricks video where you want to make like an area around walls where bases can't actually fit through, and so they can't be within an inch. That doesn't work with this, because you can just fight as long as you're within 3 inches. This is very, very good. It gets all of your guys into combat, which is pretty important a lot of the time. Very good stratagem. This is going to get you a lot more of attacks and stuff, and I just generally think it's pretty damn good to be able to fight that far away. So that's the good one, and this one isn't bad either. I think it's a reroll hit roll of 1. This isn't bad. Alright, you got 2 that are good. The last one that we have here is Voice of Devotion. Your command phase, infantry or mounted unit from your army is the target. Select the Chorus of Relentless Hate, Rite of Perfid Wrath, or Chant of Deathless Devotion litany until the end of the battle round. That litany is active for your unit instead of any other litany that is active for your army. Okay, so let's go back to these real quick. So instead of being +2 to your move and +1 to your advance, you can instead be +1 strength, I guess. You could instead have a 5-up invuln, I guess. It's got its uses. These all have their uses. Again, I'm just making a comparison to the original detachment, which is just far, far better. You got Armor of Contempt there. You have like a surge move there. You have this Voice of Devotion thing where you can just pick a new litany, basically. They have some other stuff as well that I can't think of off the top of my head, but they have better stratagems for sure. This is a very, very good stratagem. This is also very, very good as well, because there are a lot of -1 to be wounded things, especially for combat. That's actually probably more common than -1 to be hit in combat, and it really does go a long way when you're no longer -1 to be wounded. That really starts stacking up damage on you. So yeah, overall, it's not great. I know I said at the beginning that it's complete shit, but it's not complete shit. It's just not as good as the original detachment, and so in my objective view of these rules, it's not as good, and so why would you ever take it if we're playing competitively? And I don't know. I guess you wouldn't. And that's what we got for our Wrathful Procession. So what do we really get here? We get +2 move, +1 advance, fights first, and the ability to fight within 3 inches. That's pretty much what this detachment is giving us here, and that only applies to our infantry stuff. So, as always, my friends, I'm just sitting down and reading over the rules. Things could get missed, combos could get missed, interactions could get missed. There might be something about this detachment that is completely over the top, but I don't see it at a first glance, and therefore, it's bad. I hope you guys understand when I'm being sarcastic sometimes and when I'm not. I don't think people can tell a lot of the times. This detachment is not nearly as good as the original one, but it's not the worst detachment that the company has ever printed before. So, that's what we got for our Wrathful Procession. If you guys come up with anything crazy, if you're like KevBot, you're completely wrong, here's why, tell me down in the comments below. I take all those to heart. So, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, thunderhammer that like and subscribe button, hit Nurgle's bell, leave a comment, check out the other videos, and check out the second channel as well, where it's me getting upset at video games, and it's hilarious to most people. So, that's going to do it. Theory hard, my friends, and I'll catch you back at the lab.